Sorry, questions are good. You know, I've said it before, but you know, there are 400 to 500 of these talks that I've given on YouTube, on Facebook, and it's like a reference place, people to go to find out about the work and find out about their own work, possibly get answers during the day. And all of these talks are, well, most of them have to do with people asking questions. So it's really something very good. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question. Bob Sink.
Yes, Bob.
How is the best way to ask for help to open inside oneself without using words?
Without using words? Why can't you use words? I don't understand. Please help me. Well, look, I mean, you don't have to use words. I mean, need can be wordless. Need can be a feeling, a desire inside you to grow, a point inside you that says to yourself, you know, that, you know, even quiet, I want the spiritual life. The power of need, you understand, is not the power of words, it's the power of a feeling inside yourself, a lack of satisfaction with mediocrity, with, you know, not really having something so strong in you that wants a spiritual life that no word can truly describe it. It goes beyond words. It's a feeling, a sense, a depth, you know, inside oneself that really won't allow, you know, anything less to manifest. That is really, you know, I mean, that's how. You don't need words for that. You just need that thing in you that's not satisfied with any level of life that you attain. You know, that it's not the end. The energy of God is infinite energy in the universe. There's no limit to the amount of growth, knowledge, wisdom we can receive from spirit. The only limitation is the limitation we set on ourselves. And sometimes that limitation can be through looking for words instead of having a deep sensation inside yourself that you want to truly grow, that you won't accept anything as a limitation, you know, in your spiritual quest and your desire to evolve spiritually. So I think, you know, look, yes, you don't need words. You just need that thing that refuses to get stuck, that refuses to succumb to, you know, just ordinary ways that people live in the world, you know, where people accept the mundane, the mediocre, the, you know, the absurd, you know, as life. And there's nothing wrong with the mundane, the absurd, the mediocre, but it's not the end goal if one wants a spiritual life. I mean, it's not, you know, I don't know if you know the play by Samuel Beckett called Waiting for Godot. You know, you're not standing around there cracking jokes while you're waiting for God to manifest, you know, you're truly working in yourself to tap a much higher level of consciousness. I mean, the Om sound, that's not a word, it's a sound, and it really will open that depth in you that truly wants to have a spiritual life. So there are many ways to do it. Another way is to just ask, please help me to open, to grow, to have a spiritual life. So they're all methods of doing this. None of them is right or wrong. It's simply where we're at and what we do to open us. Sometimes we have to trick ourselves to open. You know, really, you got to give yourself a good kick in the ass. You got to trick yourself. You got to, you know, have a good laugh at yourself in order to get yourself open. There's all ways, and none of them are wrong, especially if they get you open. Prayer, you know, music. I mean, I listened to a piece of music today, a Norwegian piano player, a Moroccan singer, an African drummer, and the music was so extraordinary that it really opened my heart. I mean, I just listened. I was like, whoa, you know, and music I never really heard before. And I'm listening to this music. Wow, listen to these people who truly are playing for God. So I don't know what works. You have to tune into yourself and find out what works for you. I mean, that's really the important thing. Fundamentally, need is one of the best ways to open, to finally get to a place where you stop, you know, jerking yourself around and you said, I really want a spiritual life. And accept that. And then there's going to be resistance, but, you know, you have the strength inside yourself to transform the resistance. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, it's Brad.
Yes, Brad.
In my daily practice and in class, there are breaths that feel easier to take in and hold. There's breaths that are more difficult to bring down, to below the navel and then to release. And how do you work with the different expressions of that?
You know, look, every breath you take is telling you how conscious you are. Every breath you take is telling you exactly how deeply you are open inside yourself. If you have trouble bringing air down below the navel because of tension or whatever reason, it's just telling you that you need to just open deeper. How do you open deeper? It gets back to what I was talking to Bob about. Your need to grow will take you deeper. You tap that need and suddenly you can find yourself breathing right down to your toes, you know? If that need gets lost, it's shallow, then there's going to be tension. And you're going to breathe into that tension and it's not going to let you go deep. There's going to be that resistance. So that really, I mean, look, it gets back to something I've been talking about for years. There are 4 elements to this meditation that we do: the mind, the breath, mind being the strongest instrument we have. And when you get it focused in the chakra below the navel, it's like a surgical instrument that will open you at the very core of your being and help you to build that grounding and that foundation. Second, you know, instrument or tool in meditation or in the craft of meditation is breath. Well, by getting the mind focused below the navel, you open, you understand? And then by just having gratitude, the heart will open, and the breath, the power of breath, what you do with breathing is you're taking in life. You're nurturing your chakra system with the energy of life. You're using that prana, that power, to develop a chakra system inside yourself. It will open, and it won't open the chakras, it'll strengthen the chakra system because first you're focused below the navel. The mind has opened that foundation area. Gratitude has opened the heart. The breath will strengthen the chakra system. And then there are two other elements to this, this craft of meditation. And one is simply the need to do it. Now, this might sound even simplistic to some of you, but it's very real. If you lose that need to do it, if you get swept away into the mundane of the world and to all of the material and emotional and stuff of the world, you lose the need to have a spiritual life. But if you maintain that need, you understand, then you really reach deep into the core of your being, which is hungry to be connected with God. The breath will go down there and help you and facilitate the strengthening of that area. And the last tool is the will to do it. We have the will to make money. We have the will to get into relationships, to get houses, to get cars. We have a will for a lot of things. But the internalization of the will is probably the strongest, most powerful use of the human will. Because then no obstacle will interfere with your need to grow. So those four elements are essential, because meditation is a craft. That's all it is. Meditation is not a spiritual life. It's a craft that will help you develop a system inside that will enable you to have a spiritual life. And those four things, the mind, the breath, the need, and the will, are essential tools if one is going to master themselves. And that's the whole struggle, is mastering one's self. So if you, consciously use these tools, then, the third chakra is going to open, the core, the foundation, the hara, the Japanese call it, it's going to open. You'll have no trouble breathing down there. If you feel gratitude, the heart will open. You'll have no trouble breathing into the heart, using the prana of breath to strengthen the heart chakra. So all of these things have to work together. And it takes focus, it takes discipline, it takes time, patience to build the kind of system where you can use these four elements as tools. Look, if the violin is out of tune, the orchestra is going to sound pretty shitty, The oboe is out of tune, it's going to get pretty weird. So we have to fine tune our instrument, which is the chakra system. Then the breathing is not a problem, And have patience. It doesn't come. It takes time. It's a step at a time. I know Rudy always talked about the tortoise and the hare. That's what you always feel like, you're the tortoise, up against some hare, that is, but it's patiently moving forward, opening step by step by step, gets one to the finish line.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Brett. Does anybody else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, this is Jennifer.
Yes, Jennifer.
So you were saying that the meditation is a tool to get to a spiritual life. And so when do we know when we're living a spiritual life?
Oh, when you get there, you won't ever ask that question, okay? Your heart's open all the time. There's love inside you. There's joy inside you. There's, you know, you just live here on the highest levels of what it means to be human. And you don't ask that question. It's just a living experience. You understand? As I've said 1,000 times, enlightened people don't know they're enlightened. They just live that way. Their whole inner world has evolved to the point where they are in complete servitude to higher energy in the universe. And they just live that way. They interact with people that way. There's laughter, there's fun, there's joy, there's love, there's compassion, there's, you know, all of these elements are organic to the way a human being lives. And they don't know they're enlightened, they just live that way. Anyone who ever tells you they're enlightened, you know, I would be very careful. Because anyone who's enlightened is not going to brag about their enlightenment. They're going to live that way. Their whole being is experiential. And the craft of meditation, its purpose is to help you build that kind of inner life that allows you to arrive at a place where you live in the world as a highly conscious and enlightened human being. It's not based on IQ, it's not based on how much knowledge you have and wisdom and how many spiritual books you've read. It's based on truly using the craft of meditation to develop a chakra system that is strong enough to truly do what I'm talking about. I mean, you don't have to know Sanskrit, you don't have to know Tibetan, you know, you don't have to know anything except your heart is open. You know, your mind is focused in the core, the hara, the core of your being. Your mind is quiet. Your interaction verbally with other human beings, it's not even you talking, it's this higher energy that's talking that enables you to interact with other people, not on some erudite level, but to bring it down to whatever level you have to talk to somebody on. I mean, the whole point of all of this is to make it into a practical and pragmatic way of living your life. And everybody here and everybody in the world is going to do it differently. We're all unique. And that's what makes every one of you wonderful. You are completely, uniquely your own person. And you don't have to dress, you know, you don't have to wear orange t-shirts, you know. By, you know, deferring to a spiritual life, my orange t-shirt. You just become yourself, you know, what you are as a human being, you know. The highest level of yourself. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, I'd like to ask a question.
Yes, of course.
It feels like our work is really accelerated previous to your birthday. I just feel like it's pounding energy every day that's really accelerating.
Question.
Is that my illusion or is that true?
Yeah, you answer that, Chris.
It's true for me. Thank you.
Tell me the answer, Chris.
Okay. Thank you. It's true for me.
Does anyone else have a question? Okay, there'll be meditation tomorrow evening, and I hope to see you all. And to me, it's a great privilege and a great joy to be here, to be interacting with all of you. And as I say it over and over again, all of you are my teacher. Understand? And I think that is essential because the questions, the presence, it demands that I have to go really deep inside myself. And that's all I ask out of life. I want that kind of depth. You know, I'm interested in, you know, living my life that way. And God bless you. Your presence here is helping me to do it. And I'm hopefully it's helping you to do it. Otherwise, I can't understand why you're even here. You know, unless it's really helping you to grow that way. So bless you all and thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, you know, tomorrow.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you very, very much.
Good night.
Good evening.
Right.
Night.
Beautiful.